What do you mean, brother? I got something to say. I told you, just don't move. First of all, this pepper belly Guerrero, this Mexican jumping bean. Guerrero, you couldn't wake me up if I was sleeping. And now, for Super Mouse, Dundee the Flea. He's Australian, all right, but he was raised by the Aborigines because in his people's country, he was so short that he was an outcast. So only the Aborigines, they are no more than pygmies. They raised Dundee. Dundee, your legs are so short that you wear out the seat of your pants just walking around. Dundee, there's rumors going around the country that you can beat Handsome Jimmy and take this belt. There's rumors. Then I say this, Lance Russell, instead of next week, next month, where there's only about 5,000 people in the arenas to see this, I'll put my title up, Superstar Billy Dundee, right now where 5 million people can see it. If you got the strength in your short, scrawny, skinny legs, just put one foot in front of the other, Dundee. And I'll see you in the ring right now.
Hey, come on, Jimmy.
Right
you already
now,
had
Billy.
your match. Get out of here. Come on, Jimmy. Always got to be making with some kind of big play. Jimmy. Oh, here comes Dundee out. Handsome Jimmy nailing that. Look at Dundee. Put him down. Referee Paul Mortensen says big backdrop. Dundee right on top of it. Pounding away on it. The bounty hunters. Jimmy Kent. The bounty hunters grabbing Superstar. Valiant right on top of him as the bounty hunters and Valiant holding down, and Kent has got a pair of scissors. He's nailing away at the hair of Bill Dundee. Dundee being held down by the Brooklyn Bridge. Here comes Hector Guerrero. Guerrero going after Valiant. Rich going after Jerry Novak and David. Dundee up. Dundee's hair all over the ring. Is the bounty hunters and all finally take it off in there. Bill Dundee with his haircut. Billy. Hey, Billy. Hey, Bill. Hey, Dundee. Well, I guess, you know, with good reason, Bill didn't want to take time to talk right at the moment, Dave. I guess we better take a break and see if we can get this thing back down to order. We'll be back in just one moment.
Plus, one that is really going to be wild. The Superstar Bill Dundee, Tommy Rich go against the bounty hunters, Jimmy Kent. And in this one, the title's on the line. Jimmy Kent's hair is on the line. People, I think, understand what happened, Bill.
That's right, Lance, and I'm just glad I kept walking when you told me to come on back, because I might have done something or signed for some kind of match that I'm regretting now. Wildfire and the Superstar had a couple of days to think about it, and Jimmy Kent's the one that involved here, so we'll just keep it going. You're right, Jimmy Kent, you wanted a title match, but all you had to do was ask Jack and you would have got it, because we told you we wasn't ducking nobody. But you want to do it this way, well, that's okay. Now, Tommy and the Superstar, we talked about it, and your hair's on the line. And we're going to beat them two great big bounty hunters, and when we do, you're going to climb up into that chair, and the barber's going to take all the hair off the top of it. And when he's through with you, I'm going to take all the skin off the top of it, and that's a promise.
Boy, that's going to be one tough match.
You know, Lance, it wasn't my hair, but I'm just as fired up as a superstar, because that's exactly right. It all blew up in Jimmy Kent's face is what it amounts to, Lance. All he had to do was have the guts to come to us and say, hey, my boys won a Southern heavyweight title. But he couldn't do that. So now then his hair is on the line. You know, and the people right there in Louisville, they've been behind us ever since the Superstar and Wildfire got back together. So Jimmy Kent, you better be ready, brother. You better get them boys psyched up, because the Superstar and the Wildfire, we didn't go off the deep end. We just got fired up, and we're coming to Louisville fired up. And you know, when it's all over, Jimmy Kent, and you have to sit down in that chair and get that head shaved off, I want you to be thinking about it. You know, he was talking about shooting a deer. Well, the only skinning that's going to happen in Louisville is the Superstar getting you down after they shave your head and skinning you.
The time in there, and particularly when the Southern Tag belts are on the line. When you have former champions, the Bounty Hunters, with Jimmy Kent with his hair at stake, going against Bill Dundee and Tommy Rich, well, you betcha, fireworks and a half. Coming out to the ring for this match, before they ever got to the ring or really in the proximity of it, the Bounty Hunters jumped Rich and Dundee, as you can see almost back in there. They busted Billy. Kent hit him with a shoe with his boot, those boots that he wears in there, and really split Billy open bad. They had to take him back to the dressing room, and this is all before the action ever got started in the ring. It happened on the way to the ring, as a matter of fact, and it was some kind of a mess. Well, Tommy Rich, of course, was then faced with a situation. What he wanted to do was to get a substitute to go in there for him, for Billy. The referee said, no, you can't do this. So what Tommy elected to do, as we had seen it one other time, and we saw it right here on Championship Wrestling, was to come back to the ring, and rather than just give up the belts and lay them down, Tommy elected to go in there and battle them himself. Well, of course, the Bounty Hunters with Jimmy Kent are formidable enough for any two guys, much less having one man to have to battle and face in there. And you can tell that the Kent and the Bounty Hunters are plenty pleased with the action that took place prior to this championship match. And Tommy Rich still, at this point, he is talking to the referee, trying to get a reasonable explanation, saying, hey, you know, you could just eliminate a team right away. But the rules and the stipulations called for it, the fact that either the one man would have to get in there and try to defend the championship belts, or they're going to have to forfeit them. There is no such thing as a substitute, and you can understand that for the simple fact that when two men win the belts, they're the ones that have to defend it. Right, they have to defend the thing. But Rich had made up his mind there wasn't going to be any laying down on it, so by golly, I'll tell you what he did. He climbed up in that ring, and he was ready to go, at least whatever was into him, to be able to go against these Bounty Hunters. And, of course, Jimmy Kent at ringside, always a threat and always something you have to take a look for. The Bounty Hunters found that it was not going to be as easy as they thought with just one man in there, because Tommy Rich, determined and really fired up after the event of where Dundee had been clobbered with that boot and brutally busted open. So Tommy Rich, as you can see right now, he is really going after the Bounty Hunters. And let's take a listen to the action.
That's David Novak in the ring now. His brother Jerry, his partner. They wrestle as the Bounty Hunters, and David pounded with the elbow. There's a tag on Jerry. When they jumped Dundee, busted him open. Kent hit him with a boot coming out. Billy had to be carried back to the dressing room. Rich and Dundee had the options to forfeit the belts, or Tommy to face them by himself. And while it's an admirable thing for Tommy to be in there battling, boy, these two guys are big enough when you got two men, much less with one man trying to face both the Bounty Hunters. Tommy will get no rest. Bounty Hunter, a booming broad arm, and Rich right back with one of a kind. Tommy Rich Tommy's got Billy's blood all over him. And the bounty hunter drops with the elbow one. Tommy kicks his way out. One fall, 60-minute time limit bout. I don't really think there's any way that Tommy could go 60 minutes. He's going to have to get a pin as quick as he can. Drops an elbow on Jerry Novak and goes back to work on David. There's a tag out. Takes him down to the canvas. Rich rolls out of the way. Tommy using his head as well as all of his physical abilities. Bangs the head of the bounty hunters together. Southern tag title belts on the line. No disqualification. One fall and one man. Rich against the bounty hunters. Tommy goes for a cover. Too close to the ropes, and the other bounty hunter got him. Drops down with that elbow on the bounty hunter. Again, Rich nails him. Hops to the ropes. Drops straight down on with that elbow. He's got Jerry Novak bleeding. That makes up for a little of the blood that they got off of Dundee before this bout ever started. Rich covers. 2. They both jumped him. As Jerry Novak kicked, David was in hitting him. Wildfire Tommy Rich. The rest. Remember, he's been there all by himself. He leaps again with that elbow. He's had to stay in there all the way with both of them. Flying press, Rich, 1. But David Novak breaks it up and fires Tommy over the top rope. Here comes Kent. Blasts him with a boot. And Rich is trying to pull himself back up in the ring. He makes it. Bleeding, Jerry Novak bleeding, but the fresher of the two, David, is in there, ripping on Tommy Rich. He's been in there all 10 minutes of it by himself. Rich trying to tag out to the referee, anything to get a little relief. He has taken all of the abuse the bounty hunters have dished out. Rich on a double backdrop. Count of 1, count of 2. He saves it as he kicks his way out. Tommy not about to give it up. Drop kick, he got them both. Kent over there hollering, get up, get up. Rich swinging away, but you can tell he is rock tired from the effort of going against guys as big. Here comes Dundee. He grabs Kent, slams him down. Dundee with his head bandaged is out. Rich over. He makes the tag on Dundee. The little Aussie comes flying in there. Covered with his own blood. He's not stopped. Jimmy Kent, whose hair is at stake, enters the ring.
Woolley Bounty Hunters went on to win it and get the Southern Tag Team Championship belts. Some kind of tag title match when the Bounty Hunters, the new champs, as you saw just a little bit earlier, will be defending against the former champs Bill Dundee and Tommy Rich, and then Austin Idol and Jerry Lawler. More about that later on, too. Billy, I know you guys still got to be hot about those titles being taken away from you.
That's right, Lance. They weren't taken away. They were stolen away by Jimmy Kent. Now, we got him bald. He's bald-headed, and he's wearing a mask. He's embarrassed to walk around. We got half the job done. We want the other half. We want the belts back. Now, let me tell you something, Jimmy Kent. You're the one that took it to the gutter. You wanted to get down in the gutter and get fighting. Well, that's exactly what you did, brother. I grew up in a rough part of Australia, Jack. They wouldn't have woke you up in the morning to come to a wrestling match, Daddy. But it's not going to be no wrestling match. It's going to be a fight. Because when Wildfire and the Superstar get down there, brother, you better be walking, looking all around that arena. Because we're going to come out the bleachers. You'll never know where it's going to be, but we got your number and we're going to be the champions. Thank you.
That's exactly right, Lance. The people just saw how Kent and his boys stole the belts from us. We was going to the ring and they come out and jumped us from behind. I held them off. The Superstar come back and Kent still had to stick his nose in it in order for his men to win it. So I don't call that them winning the belts. I call that them stealing the belts. Well, Kent, your head's been shaved, man, and I hope you're somewhere listening. You and your big goons both. Two big old goons. That's all he's got, Lance. That's all Kent's got going for him. They're tough when they can jump you from behind. But y'all better start watching because the Superstar and Wildfire, we can jump you from behind. And if it takes getting crazy right there in Louisville, brother, you want a street fight, well, the Superstar and myself can do it, Kent, and we're shooting right at your boys. We're coming, boy, you talking about fired up, Lance. We ain't nothing but fired up. Kent, and just like I said, I hope you stick your nose in it one more time because it's going to be more than a head shaving you get. We're going to skin him alive.
Championships we got. We got some highlights of a Southern Tag Team title match that involved the Superstar and Wildfire Tommy Rich going against current Southern Tag champions, the Bounty Hunters, with Jimmy Kent. Don't need to say any more. Let's take a look at that action as it took place.
Rich taking over from Dundee and doing it in big fashion. Snaps the large Bounty Hunters together. Drops from that corner all the way to the center of the ring with a right. David chases him off on the pin count. And Rich keeping an eye out for David. As he came down, he gave the Bounty Hunter time to roll out of the way. working on that hand where Tommy hit the canvas. Jerry Novak takes over. Novak hanging Tommy at the ropes. And Brother David now from the outside wraps it around. Dundee comes after him. They're really seizing the opportunity where Tommy missed. Coming off those ropes and pounded his hand into the canvas. They have really been working on it. Bounty Hunter peeling off the support tape that Wildfire was wearing on the wrist. Boy, just remember the things at stake. On one side, the belts and Jimmy Kent's hair. On the other side, Rich's hair and Dundee's commitment that he will leave town. While the Bounty Hunters manager, Kent, has been staying put. Uh-oh, he's gone now as Dundee came around the corner. The Bounty Hunters have been doing everything they can and have been just short of disqualifications. Billy trying to get Tommy back to the corner so he can tag him out. Dundee kicked off the ring apron by the Bounty Hunter. He hit that concrete floor hard. And David Novak now over distracting the referee while Jerry Novak works on that hand, slams it into the ring post. Bounty Hunter's in the corner with Rich. He gets out, but they're right on top of him. Tommy fighting his way back. Instinct made him swing that right hand, and he regretted that.
10 minutes past, 15 minutes to wrestle. 10 minutes past, 50 to wrestle.
Dundee around to help Rich at the 10-minute mark. Woo. Hard down with the elbow, David Novak. Kent from the outside taunting Rich. Tommy rolled out of the way of that rush again. And as he did, he kicked Brother Jerry, and there's a tag on Dundee. Beautiful drop kick. He blocked him right out of the ring almost. We weren't even looking. Apparently, it was Kent who slipped under the ring and nailed Dundee. I just saw uh-oh, Billy missed the drop kick. Dundee with a flying press. And the other bounty hunter comes in. Rich still down on the floor. Referee Paul Morton trying to get him out. Jimmy Kent up out of the chair while the referee was trying to muscle Novak. Dundee gets out on the count of 2. Kent hit him, but the referee was fighting with Jerry Novak, trying to push that big 280-pounder around. Kent on the ring apron. Takes a shot from Dundee after he knocked David down. Goes for the sleeper. It's going to be a disqualification on the bounty hunters as the referee holds up the hands of Dundee and Rich. Jimmy Kent will lose his hair.
Yeah, boy, and he did in fact lose his hair. Courtesy of Wildfire and Superstar. It wasn't all roses, though, because Tommy came out at that point, found out later after it was all over with a stomping that you ended up with a fracture in that right wrist.
Yeah, Lance, for you know, I come off when I jumped off that rope, I hit my hand in the mat and hurt it, and then they really tried to hurt me. And well, they did hurt me. You know, but the whole thing is, we got a little bit of the gravy. Kent got his head shaved, and he thought that he was going to put me out of commission. They thought, that's exactly what they thought they was doing. But all that did, Lance, that just makes that hand a whole lot harder. You know, we got a no disqualification match, so when I thump them upside the head with this on my hand, they're going to know for sure they've been hit.
I'll bet. No disqualification, no time limit, but the titles are at stake, Billy.
That's right, Lance. You know, I've had an awful lot of run-ins with an awful lot of people over the last few months, and I've just learned this through experience. You can stand out here, your adrenaline gets going, and you get all wound up, and you're going to tell the people what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. But I've learned through experience sometimes that doesn't work in the ring. So I'm just going to leave my talking to be done in the ring. Thank you very much.
You can't beat that for a fact. Tommy, good luck to you guys. Remember, no disqualification. You're going to have to watch Kent even closer.
All right, I just want to say hi to all the people and tell them to come down Sunday afternoon and